Dun 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 dun. Triple Threat Podcast coming to you now. We're gonna talk about Terminator stuff. Dun 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 dun. Hey everybody, welcome to the Triple Threat Podcast. I'm Matt, and also on this podcast is Will Vaughan.
Yeah, what's up? That was a very gloomy and doomy intro. I don't know who composed that theme, but they did a lot with very little. It's like the Jaws theme, right? Just like the two-note, just like with that, what John Williams did with that. Simplicity, kids.
I could have done that to start off because it's July 4th weekend.
Yes, and it is the 40th anniversary of Jaws this year.
Yes.
They had the big 40th. I think some movie theaters. I don't think around here, but in the States, we're having.
And here the show, Oxford, July 12th.
July 12th, they're doing a Jaws screening. That movie's sweet. I don't watch that movie enough. So yeah, it's the two of us.
I've never seen
Jaws. You definitely see Jaws. It's the two of us.
Okay, well.
Alex is in Trana. He's in the Big Smoke.
Do you know where does that come from?
I have no idea. It could be like something like the Windy City. Like Chicago is called the Windy City, not because of the weather, but because they were trying to.
Bluster.
Yeah, they were trying to beat like New York, and they're the Big Apple, and Chicago tried to talk themselves up. So they just like, what a bunch of windbags. They're the Windy City. Yeah, something like that. You know, it's something that comes from the bygone centuries.
Yes,
it's some kind of ironic nickname. But Alex is
the Labor Times.
Alex in the Big Smoke, Toronto. I'm actually experiencing the Big Smoke out here in Vancouver.
So, are you getting some of that Western Canadian forest fire or Alaskan forest fire smoke?
Yeah, is that where Alaska's on fire?
That's part of it. So in Saskatchewan,
unsettling.
it's northern Saskatchewan, and then the entirety of Alaska. Satellite photo is just it's right on fire.
The entirety of Alaska? That's messed up.
Yeah, that's not really true. But there is smoke in Alaska. Parts of it are on fire. I'm
trying to remember that day I graduated. It was one elementary, grade graduation, whatever they call it, the swim up. What do they call it in Beavers?
The swim up? I think a swim up is about right, yeah.
Yeah, the swim up where it's like, all right, you passed, and you got a bunch of E's, some VGs. So you pass and you go on to the next grade. But one of those days, there was like a fire, I think in like Quebec or something, and it was like a Martian sky that day. It was
really?
Yeah, it was really weird, and I can't remember what year that was. What year? I think it was like grade 3 or 5 or something like that.
Okay.
I was asking Mom about it. She can't remember. Sorry, when I say Mom, I mean our mother.
Our mother.
Yes, and I want to congratulate Matt on being the only member of the Triple Threat Podcast who has 100% attendance. Alex, Alex has the worst. I have the second worst, and I
have the third worst.
And you have the third worst, which is also known as first best. And then actually, Ian Hanlon has the worst. He's only shown up a couple times. But he's a friend of the show. He's a special guest, so
Oh yeah, he gets a pass.
He gets a pass. That guy gets a pass. I
have the advantage of the fact that you can't do the podcast without me.
Yeah, that's true. You have all the codes.
I have the technology and the password.
You have the technology. Yeah. Hey, if I got a new setup here, I could probably do it. You could very easily do it with what you have now. Need a new
Folks,
Mac.
this is a podcast about the ins and outs of podcasting.
That's right. Yeah, I've been listening to the Invisibilia podcast. It's been very interesting. Definitely check that out on NPR. What's Matt? You follow Apple, right? The company.
I do. Oh yes, certainly.
And the company and the fruit. What do they have coming down the pipe as far as they still call them iMacs, the desktops? Because that's kind of what I want to get next.
Yeah.
Is an iMac.
Yes. So like. There's not a lot of advances in desktop computing. They released last year a 5K Retina iMac, which means that it is, a 4K display is approximately. It's not, but it's approximately 4,000 pixels across.
Oh, that's why it's called 4K. All right.
Yes, it's close to it. It's not quite. It's essentially just technically it's quadruple HD. So you could put 4 1080p screens on there. So 5K is a little bit better than that even. So those are very advanced and very tech savvy. All you really need is just a nice iMac Retina.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's what I'd be
exist.
happy with. And I remember when Ian Hanlon for the show, when he bought his last year, the guy asked him, he's like, he's like, well, Ian's like, I'm editing some stuff on it. And the guy's like, oh, are you editing sound or video? He's like, just sound. He's like, you just need the most basic desktop for that. If you're doing video, it's something else. I think you need significantly more RAM, and you also need, obviously, a much better video card loaded in there. Because, like, I don't do if you get into PC gaming or desktop gaming, then the price you're going to pay, I can't. I have a buddy who lives in Richmond, and he's all about his PC, and it's awesome. Like, he's got a mouse that, like, is basically, you know, you put your hand on it, and every finger can do something on this mouse. He's got, like, the crazy keyboard, the crazy gaming keyboard. He's got, you know, a giant tower with 15 fans cooling the thing down. He's got, you know, the huge, basically flat screen television used as a monitor. You get into PC gaming, the amount of money you're going to spend just on video cards and sound cards alone. Like upgrading the RAM and you just taking all the components out of the chassis and plugging them back in. The amount of money you're going to spend on that is outrageous. Like for a gaming PC, it's crazy. Like even if you go check out the Macs and you got like the little what are they called? Not G4. That's so old.
Mac Mini?
The Mac Mini, or like the like whatever the towers are, or they have those little cylinders.
The cylinders that's the Mac Pro.
The Pros, and those run the $3,000, $4,000 mark.
Yeah,
but those things are crazy. Those I think would be for some crazy video editing or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, they're beasts.
Yeah, my agent, that beast. My agent told me, she's like, well, you should get a computer and do video editing video editing. That's a good voice warm-up right there. Video editing as freelance. And I actually had a buddy that did that. He had a pretty good setup. And he would edit people's like demo reels, and he would do like audition tapings at his place and that kind of thing. Nice. And that's not a bad idea, but I don't know if I want to monetize myself like that. Like I don't know.
Plus, you have to be good at it.
Well, you have to be good at it. I can figure it out. I have a video on this thing that I took when me and my roommate went down to Portland in 2012. And I borrowed somebody's camera, and I kind of video logged some of the trip, just some of the trip. And I want to cobble it together on iMovie, but I'm afraid if I do it on this thing only has 2 gigs of RAM, and I don't even know what kind of video card, NVIDIA something, 256? I don't know. But I know this system definitely couldn't handle it.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No, it only just kind of smartened up after I did the update for iTunes and all that stuff. I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough space because I had all these podcasts saved on it. Our conversations took up like 5 gigs. I was like, oh, I should probably clear that out because they're all sitting in Dropbox anyway.
Yeah, they don't need to. You don't really need them, so we're good.
Mm-hmm.
This is already.
We're good. They're out in the ether. But definitely on my list is a new setup because it's getting so I can't even record a voice audition from home, which is pretty common.
You're just about due then, sir.
This guy's 6 years old.
I retired my first one after 5 years. 6 is good.
Yeah, I'm milking this guy. I'm milking him hard. So yeah. I mean, I got him when I was. What do you want to call it? When I was a little more flush. I was doing a little better. But no, I'm doing whatever. I'm doing okay now. I got my happiness, right? That's the important part. I got my love to keep me warm. Is it my love or somebody else's love? Oh,
your
whatever.
Love.
Lifting me higher. This is a very musical podcast.
True.
I went to the amusement park on the weekend.
Yeah?
This place out in Abbotsford, BC, home of the Heat. I think. Oh wait, I think they moved.
I don't know if the heater's still there.
Yeah, that's right. Home of a lot of farmland. Yes. We went to the Castle Fun Park out there, and they had one thing that I didn't play that looked very fun called Ninja Buster, and obviously anything called Ninja Buster is going to be cool. It's basically you sneak around a room with green lasers. They got green lasers, and you got to kind of Catherine Zeta-Jones and entrapment. Sneak through while Sean Connery watches. So I did not get the opportunity to play that. We did. I go-karted, which was outrageously fun. Bumper cars, which again were outrageously fun. What do they do? The batting cage. Arm is still sore from the batting cage because
I was terrible at a batting cage.
I used a baseball bat on the softballs, and that was a bad call. Ian was crushing it, but he also picked. I will say, Ian picked the slow softball cage. I picked the medium softball cage because I was like, I played beer league slow pitch 2 years ago. I can handle this. And I was like, whoa, it's like a rocket. It's 45 miles an hour. Meanwhile, they have baseball cages that were 70 miles an hour. And meanwhile, they have baseball pitchers. And the National Baseball League, nope. And Major League Baseball.
NBL.
And the NBL, these guys that can throw just rockets.
It's dumb that it's called Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
It should be called Major Baseball League, right?
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, it's been around for a long time, so I don't know if they're going to change it.
That's my qualm with the
baseball's existed for 160 years, something like that.
I think we're coming up on 500 because I think Copernicus was involved in the initial.
Yes, Copernicus. He was the original Babe Ruth.
It's true.
He's the Babe Ruth of Greece. Greece?
Babe Ruth.
Is that what I said right? Is he in Greece? Part of my throat clearing.
That's you're absolutely pardoned. So on the top of the podcast, you heard the theme.
You heard the theme. Yeah, you heard the theme from the official Terminator soundtrack. Get it on iTunes.
Dun 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 dun.
It's trending.
It's true, trending on iTunes.
It's trending.
And
on iTunes.
We're talking about it because this past weekend was the release of Terminator Genisys.
This past Wednesday.
Past Wednesday, sorry, yes. But this weekend is when, I would say most people would have seen it then.
I got blood red mad at somebody when they were like, what's coming out this weekend? And I was like, well, Terminator and Magic Mike XXL, and they came out on Wednesday. She's like, yeah, but something's coming out on the weekend. I'm like, no, that's it.
I promise you, that's it.
Whatever.
Just guys, shirtless.
And then there's Magic Mike XXL.
Yeah, exactly.
There's shirtless guys dancing around, and then Magic Mike. Yes, but this past July 1st, Terminator Genisys came out. What were the box office numbers, by the way? I think Jurassic World held over again.
Really? Let me consult with my Magic box office
so you
portal.
Yeah, you connect to your Magic Mike XXL, and I'll just...
Oh, you know what? Oh, wow. Terminator, it looks like, from what I see right now, it looks like Terminator was third.
Ouch.
Yeah, I think Jurassic World, it looks like Jurassic World was 30 million.
Yeah.
So was Inside Out. It's now 30 million.
They tied.
Good for them, I think. Well, Jurassic World is 30.9 and Inside Out's 30.1.
Oh, yeah, no.
And then Terminator's with 28.7 and then Magic Mike with 11.6. And didn't Ted 2 come out this? No, Ted 2 came out last week.
That was the week before, and it didn't open so hot. It opened way below what they thought. Jurassic World is outrageous. It is it is like beyond demolishing.
I contributed to that, by the way.
No, none of it's domestic.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I contributed to being huge internationally, regardless.
I wonder, because somebody does track the number one movies in like Canada, and the list is actually slightly different. Number ones are usually the same, but you got to kind of. There was a trivia thing we did, bar trivia. I mentioned it before, and they asked for the top 5 movies in Canada, according to whatever famous players. And it's usually kind of a weird list. But I wonder, I would like to know what a number one movie in Canada would make. It's like Jurassic World's number one in Canada made $478,000. No, it can't. It's impossibly low.
Well, the United States is
they have a population.
We're about 30 million. They're about 300 million.
Yes,
so just multiply by 10. So maybe Jurassic World made 3 million this week.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
They do have they do have the population center for sure, but man, the thing's destroying. And I really do. I know it's not going to leave theaters anytime soon. Thankfully, I really do need to check out Inside Out. Everyone's just talking it up like crazy.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
I just don't want to see it alone because I need someone to probably console me after.
Someone to hold you there.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to cry in films.
I'll tell you one movie that made me cry. The first Terminator movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not true, but I saw the first Terminator movie just a couple of years ago. Like I had seen Terminator 2.
Yeah,
because I think someone told it to me is like, you don't need to see the first one.
It's weird to go back, isn't it?
It is, but when I
see Bill Paxton.
This is me leading into a conversation. Yeah, exactly. As a classic Bill Paxton character, which is to say, like a little punk man,
a little punk guy.
Really weird.
Yeah.
This is our way of leading into Terminator, just by going through the mythos of it.
We'll go through the genesis of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the first one is actually really good. Like it's really really moving along.
It's really lo-fi. It's great.
I love it. Like I love watching it. I'm in the mood to see it again. I might do it.
That stop motion T-800 running down the street.
Oh boy, there's
great.
some questionable acts. This like some of the effects are like, okay, it's 1984. But I mean, it can't compare to Terminator 2 in terms of effects.
No,
which is still
and in terms of box office, obviously, because James had a little bit more pedigree by the time he got to Terminator 2, so he got a couple more bucks to play with. Because I think when he made Terminator 1, wasn't he just coming off of Piranha 2, or maybe it was The Abyss, or maybe The Abyss was. I think The Abyss
is 89, so it's actually it goes Terminator, Aliens. Abyss.
Yeah, okay. So you had Aliens,
Terminator 2, maybe something else. Titanic.
True Lies, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it was True Lies and then Titanic, and then after that, some movie called Avatar.
A movie I didn't see.
Check it out. It's worth seeing.
Should I?
I think it's worth seeing. Yeah. I think it's interesting. Anyway, so yes, Terminator 1, the first Terminator. It's. I think most people's experience with Terminator, the first movie, now is going to be them. I think most people now, it's fair to say, start with Terminator 2, just because that's kind of like the quintessential 90s action movie. And then they'll go back and watch the first Terminator, and they'll be like, oh, was he? He's a bad guy. He's terminating her. It explains why she's so terrified in Terminator 2 when he comes around the corner with John. So Terminator 1 is pretty cool. And I remember bits and pieces of it, but I really don't remember too much of it.
Right.
I remember Michael Biehn being in it.
Michael Biehn, isn't it?
Biehn, okay. Biehn or Bane. Apologies to the actor Michael Biehn, if you're listening to this show.
Which I really hope you are.
Michael Biehn.
I'd love to have you on.
By the way, Sean's brother, Michael Biehn.
Sean's brother.
Yeah, Sean Biehn.
He lives in every movie.
Yes. I don't think he does he? No.
In the movie we're talking about, I don't believe he does. And then Terminator 2 came out and blew everybody's pants off.
Yes, it did. Oh, shoot. I got to go back one quick thing about Terminator 1.
Of course, yeah.
Arnold met with James Cameron. I'm going to butcher this story, but it's in his book. Arnold met with James Cameron. I think James wanted him to play Kyle Reese. And you know, this is a relatively famous piece of movie lore. I'm going to mention it here anyway for those who are uninitiated. But Matt, do you know who they had in mind to play the Terminator so much? Right, you know who it is. So much so that they actually had posters made.
Yes,
yeah,
I do know who it is.
Who was it?
O.J. Simpson.
It was O.J. Simpson,
which is crazy.
Like you imagine O.J. Simpson being the Terminator.
I think there was something apocryphal. It's like, oh, but he's too nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the whole thing too.
Yeah.
He couldn't kill somebody. Spoiler alert. There's a pretty good chance he probably.
And then, exactly. Cut to a couple of years later, and then they think Arnold like, oh, the worst he'll do is cheat on his wife, so that's fine. You can be a Terminator.
He'll just have some baby somewhere with some Spanish Austrian child.
Yes, it's like
floating out there.
You know, that guy looks like he could run a state. He could be a Terminator.
Yeah, he can handle it.
Let's pick him. Yes, so Terminator 2 came out, you're right, and blew everybody's pants off. It was an incredible... Everybody was looking through the fence at Los Angeles screaming, and then a nuclear blast came by and turned them into a skeleton and blew them away.
Yes. I don't know where we got that image from, but it's very powerful.
It's a very powerful image of a lady playing with her son on the playground in 1997.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, can I just say it's kind of, you get kind of whiplash if you've seen Terminator 2 first and then you watch the first Terminator movie, because Linda Hamilton's performances are very different.
Yes.
She's just this kind of like this nice little waitress.
She's a waitress, yeah.
And then the second one, she's a psychotic, jacked killer.
Well, because she was hunted by a machine and she knows the future, which is a little. And the future is not good.
She's overselling it though. She knows one part of the future, an important part, I'll admit. But it's not like she's like, I know the Super Bowl winners for the next 40 years.
She doesn't have the Biff Sports Almanac.
Yeah, exactly. Judgment Day is.
Where's that crossover? Judgment
Day is August 7th, 1997. Also, that year, the Baltimore Colts win.
Where's that crossover? Where's Doc Brown showing up? Oh, man. All right.
Marty, we got to kill your kids.
We got to kill your kids, Marty. Yeah. Tyson, we got to kill your kids. So, yes, Terminator 2 was sweet. Was one of the precursors to CG, really. A lot of the old CG with the kind of liquid mercury effect, which I know he dabbled with that in The Abyss, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, similar stuff, but nothing near as impressive.
Similar stuff. So he really broke some ground here with the digital effects that he could do, and some pretty sweet practical effects too. Like when Arnold opens his arm up, that's some gnarly stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But yeah, some really cool digital effects with Robert Patrick's character, the T-1000, hunting a guy's liquid metal.
He plays him so well.
Oh, he plays it incredibly well. He's a shape-shifting liquid metal dude. And like all shapeshifters, I'm realizing in movies, it's like when Mystique just turns it back into like her blue character, which I guess just means that like if you shapeshift, I guess it takes a lot out of you to kind of hold that shape. So she just wants to default back to normal, you know? That's kind of what he does in Terminator. He actually picks a really good disguise. He disguises himself as a cop, so nobody really questions him.
He can do whatever he wants.
Until he starts killing people.
Yeah. And even then, today, no. More
Whoa, yeah, okay.
We had enough politics last week.
We had
folks.
enough politics last week. I still don't know who is running the country, but that's
fine.
That's
but you know,
not,
if you're in California a few years ago, you know who was.
It's not fine. It's sad. Yes, I didn't know that this guy. Well, I read his book. You know, to be fair, I know Stephen Harper has a book about hockey. That's about all I know. We had a Giant Chapters here downtown. It just closed because the rent was too high. The rent was too damn high. I even know that guy, Jimmy.
Yeah, you know that guy. He's not running the country. Just so you're.
He's not.
Just so we can be clear.
Well,
probably for the best. He's kind of a little bit.
Once SNL makes fun of our politicians, then I'll know. John Oliver actually did mention Canada in one of his segments. It was
the Senate, right?
Yeah, the Senate. The lady if you want that breakfast, that's not a real breakfast. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, cold.
If you want a cold toast, it's hilarious. Anyway, I digress. Yes, Terminator 2, sweet. One of my favorite movies, I gotta say. And on my hard drive somewhere, I have sitting a commentary that Ian and I recorded, and I'd like to revisit that and record it again because we didn't talk a lot. We just kind of ended up watching the movie, which is sweet.
The danger of doing a commentary track.
Oh, yes. Well, you want a tip to do a commentary track, this is what you do. And I've never done it, so I don't know why I'm telling you this. But watch the movie and then watch it again right after. So watch the movie, obviously not for the first time. Watch a movie.
Wow, this is pretty good. We did a good job on this one.
And then right after, yeah. I'd say watch the movie and take notes, and then record it after. Record commentary on it after with the sound on mute. That'd be a good way to do it. So that's what Ian and I need to do. We need to find a spare 4 hours, but it's hard, man. You know, it's hard. You know, I'm busy recording podcasts and all that sort of thing. So
yeah, exactly. You got other things you're doing.
Yeah, that's right. I got to tell you, it's really nice telling people I do a podcast so they can just pull it up on their phone right away on iTunes. That happened to me last week. I was like, yeah, I do a podcast. He's like, oh, is it this one? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm going to download it. It's like, sweet.
Oh, nice. That's Will just going off around the street, people with their iPhones.
Well,
like,
I'm spreading the word.
Listen to this podcast.
Spreading the word, baby. I would kind of wish I had business cards at the Fan Expo. I wanted to hand those out. That would have been a nice thing to do. I ended up getting free books because they just mentioned I'm on a podcast.
Nice.
Still got that stack of books here, and I'll send those out shortly. Okay, so Terminator 2 comes out, blows everybody's pants off. That was what, 92, 91?
Yeah, 91,
something like
92.
That? Yeah. Like I said, quintessential early 90s action movie. Real stunts, and it's real cool. This is before CG got out of control because we have one character. It was a very minimally used effect. Minimally used effect. Yeah. And it was new and exciting, and it helped tell the story. It was perfect, right? Oh, yeah. It was great. 2003 comes out, and now we finally get the sequel everybody's been waiting for, Terminator 3. It's the T-800 versus the T-X, which is
I have not seen this movie.
Which is a lady. You've never seen Terminator 3?
I have not seen Terminator 3.
I don't remember it so well. Probably for good reason. Yeah. I know Ian Hanlon from the show. He revisited it recently, and he's like, "Oh, this is not good." John Connor is played by what's that kid's name? Nick. I think it's Nick Bain or Nick Bean.
Nick Cannon?
Not Nick Cannon.
Okay.
It's I had to pull up my phone here. Gosh dang it, Nick Stahl. All right, yeah, settle down, Ian. It's Nick Stahl. I know. I figured it out. It's losing his mind right now. By the way, we do this podcast for one person. So it's Nick Stahl and I want to say Claire Danes. Not Claire Danes. Terminator 3.
I think it is. Isn't it not?
Rise of the Machine. It is. Okay. Homeland's own Claire Danes and Kristanna Loken, who's from Sweden
Swedish
or something? Yeah. Jinx. Yeah. Oh,
she's from Mississippi?
She was, yeah. She's from Mississippi. She was in,
my name's Kristanna Loken.
She was in Blood Rain. Remember that? The vampire movie?
Isn't what happened? You got Blood Rain mad earlier?
Blood Rain mad. It's the Blood Rain directed by Uwe Boll, who was very upset nobody contributed to his Kickstarter campaign. So Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines.
Take a hint, Uwe.
So the big deal, I think, of this one was that Arnold was back as the character. This is him. I think this is right before he was governor, because he was governor from like 04 to
That was 10.
04 to 10. Yeah, he's like 7 years or so. So it's like right before he came.
It's a 6-year term in the States for a governor, I believe.
It was for him. It was like I think it was like 3 and 4 or something like that. It was a recall, and then he got reelected because he had nobody to run against. So I think it was like 4 years, the second term. Anyway, so Rise of the Machines. Gosh, I don't even remember the plot. I know the plot in the next couple of movies gets real muddy as to like, yes, this will happen if we don't stop Skynet. Judgment Day still is coming. You know, like in Terminator 2, spoiler alert, they stopped Judgment Day because they kill the guy who was going to invent, or they don't kill the guy who was going to invent Skynet, but
he does end up dead. Spoiler alert.
Oh well, yeah, he does actually. Yeah, he blows up all his his office, right?
Correct.
They blow up the Skynet office, and he stays behind because he gets trapped or something. Oh wow, I'm really bad at remembering this. You know why I don't remember it? Because I'm thinking of the newest movie.
Which I'm excited to get to shortly. Now, before we do, let's get to the best of the series, Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, see, Terminator Salvation. I remember watching it, and I remember liking that movie actually. It was directed by Mick G. Arnold's not in it per se.
Kind of.
Yes, exactly. Per se.
His likenesses.
It's got Christian Bale and Sam Worthington and Moon Bloodgood, who I met on the set of Falling Skies. She's a nice lady.
You know Moon Bloodgood?
Yeah, we're good friends. We go way back.
Noun, good.
Noun, good. Moon Bloodgood. Yeah.
Blood movie.
Salvation, yeah. I always got Common in it as well. Oscar winner Common.
And Salvation, I remember I saw in theaters. I was about 5 minutes late to it.
Yes.
And afterwards, a friend I went with was like, that was dumb, because he just... He likened it that every time there was like a machine that attacked in the movie, it was like, well, now there's a spider machine. It just seemed like it was something that like a 5-year-old cooked up.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. It's probably Tim Burton was a spider in the third act.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there was like the different machines, and like it was grittier, and like what was it, Sam Worthington's like a machine person hybrid or something, right? Isn't that what's revealed? Or
I don't remember.
Yeah. I really should have watched these movies before talking about them.
You saw a movie recently, which was
yes,
latest Terminator movie.
I saw the latest
pretty well.
Terminator, kind of. I saw the latest Terminator movie on Canada Day, so I thought, what better way to celebrate than watch an Austrian and a bunch of Australians try to pretend that they're American. and
who is the worst at being American?
Emilia Clarke by a long shot.
Yeah.
At one point, she's like, you don't even want to get your gun to fire, or something like that. Like she's not so good at putting a damper on it, on her English accent. Because I think this is the first time she was asked to do that. Because really, she just has Game of Thrones in this. In Game of Thrones, she can be as English as she wants because it's the character. But this, she has to be Sarah Connor, the American, and she's got the vim and vigor, but she's. The accent is a little off, and she's just a little too, I don't know. So I guess she kind of does look like Linda Hamilton, though, back in '84. A little bit, right? A little bit. So it's got her and this Jay Courtney guy, who I wasn't thrilled by. I just think he was good, and that was it. He wasn't great. He wasn't, he wasn't very charismatic at all to me. And then Jason Clarke, who was okay in this. Yeah, I've seen him do better.
I like him a lot, but I haven't heard great things about performance of the role.
Yeah, and I gotta not to really kind of beat something when it's down, but I will talk about my film going experience in a second. But the writers are the pedigree that first of all, it's directed by Alan Taylor, who directed a bunch of Game of Thrones episodes, and he also directed Thor: Dark World, amongst other things. So these writers, it's a writing team: Patrick Lussier and Leta Kalogridis. Rolls right off the tongue. So Leta wrote Shutter Island, Bionic Woman, Pathfinder, Alexander, Night Watch. This is going back in time through her IMDb page. This other guy, Patrick Lussier, wrote Drive Angry, Dracula 3, Dracula 2, and Dracula 2000. So you look at that resume and you're like, all right, so here they come, the Terminator Genisys. And I got to say, definitely the worst part of the movie is the writing. Absolutely. But I'll talk about my film going experience first. It was Canada. Okay. It was Canada Day, so I watched this with a pitcher of beer in me. So you think that would increase my enjoyment of it? Right behind us was 3-year-old kid with their with their folks at a Terminator movie. Now this Terminator movie is rated PG. So it's it's fairly tame as far as violence and that sort of stuff goes. Most of the violence is done to machines, which is like in Star Wars the prequels. That's the easiest way to get away with violence. You just make them skeletal looking machines. You can chop their heads off, chop them in half, chop their arms off, do whatever you want with them. It doesn't matter. They're machines. Yeah. So that's how you kind of get away with that level of violence. You just like in Ultron, Age of Ultron, you just blow up a bunch of machines. You reach in their heart and tear it out. If that was a person, that would be explicit X-rated violence. That'd be outrageous. Never get away with it, but because they're machines and they're just pieces of metal and stuff, you can destroy it. So 3-year-old kid behind us who doesn't have a theater voice when watching a movie.
You don't get that till 4, I think.
You don't get the theater voice until 4. So don't bring your kid to Terminator.
Yep, fair enough.
Absolutely don't do that. Partway through the third act of this movie, the sound goes off. And it's very heightened scene. And the sound goes off. And it takes a good 3 seconds for anyone to react. The first person reacts says, "Are you kidding me?" And some other guy goes, "We want a refund, definitely." And I was sitting next to Ian, and Ian's just kind of like, "It's actually kind of like it better this way." And the thing I was like, "Oh no," because I wasn't upset that I was missing dialogue or sound or whatever. I was like, "Do I have to sit here and watch this movie again?" Oh God! So. Anyway, the sound goes back on, but it was off for a good 2 minutes. And you just like most things in the story, you just kind of guess what you missed because there's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of going through different timelines. And to me now, they're kind of like, well, that was a different timeline, and you encountered a time anomaly. It's like these time traveling movies and shows are hard to keep track of. I think Futurama does actually a pretty good job of time travel in a lot of their episodes. Star Trek, the 2009 reboot, that you can keep track of that. I think that's still a little bit muddy to me, but I think they did a pretty good job. It's hard once you're juggling timelines and stuff. Oh yes, I encountered a wormhole and I saw the thing happen, and then before I knew it, I was sucked back through or whatever. He's like, I traveled through time and I saw a different timeline. It's like, oh yes, you encountered a different future. So anyway, the sound went off and came back on, and that was fine. But it was a muddy theater going experience to say the least. But yeah, and the movie itself is it's written poorly. Arnold is the best actor in it, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. They try to shoehorn in too many jokes. Like, they go to the same joke 3 times, and really people didn't laugh any of the times. and overwrought use of CG. There's one character, and this doesn't spoil it, but there's one character at the beginning who's basically a T-1000, and they do the liquid metal effect. And I'm kind of looking at that and like, that liquid metal effect really hasn't evolved since 1992. Like it looks, it looks basically the same.
I don't even know if it looks any better.
Mm-hmm. It looks basically the same. It doesn't look any better, which I thought was interesting. But the big twist, and I won't talk about it here, but the big twist they put into their advertising, like it's on the TV ads now.
Yeah, which is really kind of disappointing.
Because he's the main antagonist of the movie. Like I think they were marketing it, and what's wrong with my glottal stop today? There we go. They were marketing it, and they realized that, like, well, we don't have a bad guy in this movie. It's like, well, we do, but it doesn't get revealed until part way. And like, just put it in the marketing anyway. So they marketed it like, see a man become a machine. It's like, well, first of all, you don't see that, and second of all, it's really not. It's really something you'd like to discover in the movie, right?
Yes.
So anyway, the director kind of was like, I think they revealed too much. The subtitle Genisys makes perfect sense when you watch it. Okay. That's obviously a big part of it.
Even the spelling.
The spelling will make sense when you realize what it's for. That'll make sense to you when you watch it. But unfortunately I actually would recommend you stay about 50 feet away from this movie. It's not necessary that the Terminator canon. It kind of rewrites some stuff and redoes some stuff, and I don't think in a good way. So I was pretty let down by Genisys. I had very low expectations heading into it anyway, but I was let down by Genisys. So it's too bad. I can't recommend a good scene. Unfortunately.
So you're saying watch it. Run, don't walk. Walk, don't walk.
Run, don't walk. If you got that second run movie theater and it's $2 night or whatever it is, check it out during $2 night. But otherwise, that's something we can. Check it out. We can discuss it and maybe try to make sense of it. But it's just a mess. The story was a mess and the plot was a mess and just things happen and I don't know. It was a shame. I'm sure Ian will have a film night. I think his next film night podcast he's doing is doing a Terminator discussion. It's going to be a little bit more intelligent than the one I was giving right now. So definitely check that out. filmnight.podbean.com. I actually bumped into the guy who runs that last week. He wants to do a crossover at some point. I'm like, all right.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Nothing, no promises.
We're talking. Yeah, we're talking talking out of school here, taking turns out of school, talking out of term.
You and I are taking turns out of school,
talking shop. So yes, that's kind of anything else, Matt? You want to mention about Terminator, a franchise built on an Austrian bodybuilder and an excellent director. James Cameron is the reason this franchise is what it is. And that's who needs to return. Even though he liked this movie, and they quote him in the commercials, he's like, "You'll love this movie. It's great." But I think he needs to come back to it at some point if they want to, ironically, have any kind of salvation for Terminator. The next Genisys needs to be James Cameron.
Judgment Day.
Yeah, Rise of the Machines. I think James Cameron needs to come back to it. Because that's what people underestimate in these franchises. Like, oh, it's built around the actor. It's like, well, what about the director? I mean, I suppose there are franchises that are built around the actor. Tom Cruise is definitely Mission Impossible. Like, you can't do a Mission Impossible without him. Matt Damon is Jason Bourne. You can't do a Bourne movie without him, even though he did. And that's Jeremy Renner, who's also in Mission Impossible. So he's taken over all the franchises.
I'm excited with Mission Impossible. I just saw very recently that there's rumors that Tom Cruise might leave Scientology.
Really?
Yeah, because apparently, his daughter, he doesn't spend much time with her. But he's a human, and so he has a daughter, and as a result, he feels a connection with that person. And,
very
sometimes you do irrational things, man.
So very interesting. Unfortunately, if he in the next 6 months we read Tom Cruise was seriously killed in a car crash. He's seriously killed by a Scientology sniper.
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any surprises there.
I mean, I hope not.
The best would be if he leaves Scientology and they just announce his actual height. Shaming him.
Do you know he's actually 5'3"? That's right, he's 5'3". They make him look bigger in the movies. We're like, yeah, we know. He wears lists. I bet he's small. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about height, people out there. I mean, I can say that I'm 6'2", but like people get too hung up over height.
I do really wish I was 6. Like I'm just underneath it. It bothers me.
Or you're just a frog, so you're under. You're like 5'11" and a half.
Yeah, I'm 5'11". Yeah.
That's fine. Honestly, you know what? If you did some stretching, I'm sure you could like.
You think so?
Honestly, I grew an extra inch, like just from like stretching. I always thought I was 6'1". They're actually like, oh, you're actually 6'2", and I'm like, oh, great. I mean, you can say you're 6 feet. No one's going to measure you on the spot, right? No,
that's interesting.
No one cares. Oh, speaking of measuring on the spot, you have to give your height and weight for your driver's license, at least out here. I went in to renew my passport the other day because it was coming up in November. So I was like, I got free time. I might as well. I'm trying to avoid helping somebody move, so I might as well get my passport renewed. So I went to the passport office, and I had my old passport with me because I read online. It's like, yeah, just stop in. If you're doing the express renewal, just show up. And I was like, oh, that's all I need. So I show up, and there's the nice old security guy there. He's like, yeah, what do you need? I was like, just renew my passport. He's like, all right, do you fill out your form? It's like, no. Do you have your photo? No. He's like, all I have is my old passport. He's like, all right, gives me the envelope, fill this out, or go over across the way, get your photo taken, and then while you're waiting for it to be processed, fill this out and come back to me. I'm like, okay. Because like I used to think the passport photos were done in different places away from the office. It makes perfect sense that the photos should be done across the way from the passport office, right? Like they should be right there. They should just take your photo at the passport office. I shouldn't have to pay $16 for 2 crappy photos of my head.
Yeah, I got a selfie right here on my phone. I got everything that you wanted me to do. I don't look happy. I'm against a wall.
Yes, I don't look happy. I'm against the wall. I'm not wearing sunglasses or glasses of any type or a white shirt. So when I went over to get my photo taken, I was like, yep, I'm here for passport photos. He's like, oh, you can't wear a white shirt. And I was wearing a white shirt because it was boiling hot outside. And I have a lot of black shirts. So I was like, I'll wear a white shirt. It's nice and light, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be easy on myself. He's like, you can't get your photo taken with a white shirt. I was like, okay. He's like, I have a shirt over there you can put on. So in my passport photo, it's me and my white shirt and this black button down, short sleeved, whatever passport photo office shirt. I'm wearing like the store sock in my in my passport photo. I was like, oh great. So yeah, I had to put that on and go through the rigmarole of waiting for the passport renewal, and there you go. Spent way too much to get my passport renewed for 5 years.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it happens in the store shirt. I thought that was pretty.
Can't you do a 10-year upgrade?
You can, and I don't know why I didn't opt for that one because 5 years is 120, 10 years is 140.
Yeah.
So how dumb am I? I'm quite dumb. I just wanted another picture. That's the only thing. I was like, give me another 5 years. I'll get a much better picture.
I'll be better off that way.
I'll be better off. I'll wear a suit.
You're optimistic about 35. Well, I gotta say.
I am optimistic about 35. I'll stay the same. It's like Chris Hardwick said. He's like, 30's not weird. 35 is weird because then you're out of that demographic. You're out of that 18 to 35 demographic. And you start to really get old. So I got that to look forward to. I am optimistic about 35. Dang it.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic about the next 10, 20 years.
Good for you, kid.
I'll be getting better with age. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Number one movie at the box office, again, like we discussed, was Jurassic World. And you made Dino Tracks to your local cinema to check that out.
Dino Tracks. I made sure that every time I took a step, I kind of did it in like I made a pad. And I kind of stomped out 3 toes.
Yes, yeah.
And I kept going. It took a long time to get there.
Yeah, it took a long time, but it was worth it. So I think we're at the stage now. We can discuss it, right? Like we can go into details.
Sure. I think
members of the
literally
show,
everyone on Earth has seen it. I think, right?
A couple times. The commercial on TV now is go see it again, and it's just showing the third act. It's just showing the fight, and it's like go see it again. because you've seen it already, you numbskull. This isn't spoiling anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are on the second round of Jurassic World. It's made a trillion-y, million-y, trillion-y dollars. It's made an undiscovered amount of money right now.
We're still looking for it.
We're still looking for it. Yeah, it's the undiscovered. What was the Star Trek?
Star Trek 6, the Undiscovered Country.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I got you.
All right, so I gave my kind of mini crappy review of Genisys. Matt, what did you think of Jurassic World?
One thing I got to say is I had an interesting theater experience as well because the movie starts.
Yes.
And my wife says, so the lights are still on. And she is right. The lights are 100% on still.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. It drives me nuts.
So she had to go outside and be like, the lights are still on to some 16-year-old who was like, yeah, okay.
We'll turn it off, lady. We're sorry.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
We didn't mean to do that.
So I didn't really have like much of expectations for Jurassic World. I think you kind of tempered them well on the podcast just by saying, it's a popcorn flick. Don't get your hopes up, kid.
It's fun. That's kind of what I was leaning toward. I was like, it's fun. It's kind of silly, and you can kind of turn your brain off a little bit.
Yeah, I think I was in just the perfect spot for this movie because I loved this movie. I love Jurassic World a lot.
That's awesome.
It was so much fun.
Good.
And I was ready. I like when Vincent D'Onofrio shows up, and I'm like, I don't know if I really like this guy that much. And then I'm like, character? I'm not supposed to like him very much.
Oh,
I was
man,
just really happy for the movie.
He's just a bloated jerk. He is great.
Oh, it's great. And like even things like I love in movies when they're just like, yeah, he's gonna have this shirt, and you're gonna hate that stupid shirt with the pockets that are just kind of there, and it's not very flattering to him.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the same way with Jake Johnson's mustache in the movie.
Oh yeah,
it's brilliant. It's such a good character choice, and I was like, man, this movie should get a lot of credit for that mustache.
Yeah, isn't
that?
Yeah, isn't that great? D'Onofrio was like, I want to militarize these raptors. He's like, you imagine put these guys down in Afghanistan, save thousands of soldiers. What a great idea!
I did love that because I was like, oh yes, I love any kind of. I don't know if it was really a message as much as it was like, oh, people want to make things for war.
That's right.
Some people just see dollar signs and bullets. That's all they see.
It's practical, right? It's practical. I got to say, too, man, when the kid showed up to the park and he runs through he does the booking.com kind of thing where he opens the door and booking.
He does the booking.com. I'm glad he didn't do the Trivago thing.
He didn't. He wasn't a sad man in a shirt being like, hotel in Trivago. He bursts through the door and there's Jurassic World in all its glory, and the theme song comes up. That gave me chills. I thought that was such a cool moment. Those Judy Greer's kids.
Very liberal use of the theme song.
Oh, yeah.
They're just like, anytime there's a certain amount of majesty, let's put that through. Slash that through there.
It's like they spelled somebody's name right on the Starbucks cup inside this thing.
That's actually a hard one. It was Jeffrey with a G.
They really went the extra mile here. But I thought it was great because it's... here we go, right? The first Jurassic Park movie. The park is about to open, and now Jurassic World. It's a fully functioning amusement park. There's kids that ride on the little Triceratops.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I love the idea that the movie's just like, what if we have a park that's open? It's like the most obvious thing in the world.
The first movie is, and the first, let's be fair, the first book is, it's like, the park can't open because it's too dangerous. And now it's like, no, the park's open. And it makes total sense. You got the Samsung Visitor Center. You got a Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville. Like, at one point, there's pterodons and pterodactyls dive bombing the place. And this guy's running with 2 margaritas in his hand.
Yes.
And I think they're supposed to be being evacuated at that point, right? But there's still, like, Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville is still open. So, you want a salt rim on that? Okay. There's
can you imagine how expensive those would have been? Those are $20 drinks that guy's holding. That's why.
Those are triple margaritas, man. Those are Patron margaritas. Those are like $30-$40 each. It's great, and they got a Starbucks in there, which makes there's so many Starbucks cups walking around, but that's believable to me, right? Like we can actually relate to that. Like Jake Johnson, I wish we knew his character's name. It's probably like Biff or something. But they talk about name. It's like, yes, they're over there at the Samsung. He's like, oh, it's so dumb. All these corporate sponsors. It's like he's
Pepsi-saurus.
like the Pepsi-saurus, and he's kind of the anti-movie because he has that moment at the end where it's like, oh, here's when they kiss. And she's just like, oh, I have a boyfriend. He's like,
oh my gosh, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Lauren Lapkus, by the way. I don't know if are you familiar with her at all?
She's 30 Rock. Is she on 30 Rock?
I don't know. No, you might be thinking Kristen Shaw, which is not.
No. I think no.
You think she is? But I know her because she's on a lot of podcasts, like the Earwolf Network podcast. She does. She has a few, and so I know her to see her. So when I saw her in this, I was very excited.
Yeah, she pops up in a bunch of stuff, and she, good on her for landing this thing because I think anybody who gets a gig in this flick is doing well. Even the Insidious kid and like whatever. Like I think his older brother who's just macking on all the girls in the park.
It's such a weird thing because at the beginning of the movie, he has a girlfriend. We see her. She's like text every day, and then every moment he gets, he's looking around.
He's not so into her though, right? Because she says she loves him. And he's like, gotta go. So
gotta
obviously, Matt, I think that relationship's on the rocks. I think those 17-year-olds are on the rocks, and it's too bad. And, I think it was hilarious. Every girl at the park is looking at him, and he's kind of ignoring his brother because his brother's a little nerd, right? He's got spaceships in his bedroom.
That little kid's almost a bit too much. I don't know, man. I would have a hard time with him, too.
Yeah, that's true.
This is speaking as a younger brother.
Yeah, but then, they go through the gyrosphere thing, what a great cameo by Jimmy Fallon on that. Hey, absolutely. Jimmy Fallon, showing you how to use gyrosphere. It's like, oh, is this real? It is? Oh, no. One thing that I was like, why are the attendees allowed to control the speed of the gyrosphere?
That seemed wrong to me.
It was
well.
very
wrong.
I
figured they'd just be kind of on like a monorail kind of situation.
Which there is in the park. There is a monorail, right?
Yes.
That they're on. But the gyrosphere that people can control. Like, I hope you enjoy your probably $3 million gyrospheres that people are definitely going to be bumping into each other with.
Yes.
Like they're able to bump into these dinosaurs. Like, even though they are herbivores, like there was one point when people are kayaking down a river next to Stegosauri, whatever.
Sure.
Stegosauri is when you get pink eye near a Stegosaurus. But there's people kayaking in the river next to the Stegosaurus. Like, I'm like, they still have spiked tails. Like, even though they're herbivores, like if someone reaches their paddle out and like spanks it on the butt, they're gonna die because it still has ways to defend itself, right? Even with the ankylosaurs.
Are those the ones with the big tail thing on their body?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a sweet scene with those guys.
Yeah. We still haven't talked about Chris Pine or Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, because Chris Pine isn't in it. Oh,
what?
You meant Chris Pratt. We said Chris Pine.
Oh, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. Enough. It'd be cool if Chris Pine was in it. I like...
Sorry, Chris Pratt. You know I love you.
Yeah, he's really hurting right now. Chris Pratt in it. Chris Pratt, I thought was great. Well, I wasn't such a fan of Bryce Dallas Howard in this. What did you think about it? Okay. What did you think?
I have... she's kind of in the same irrational crush atmosphere as Jessica Chastain, so...
Because she looks the same. More or less, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good reason to be there.
Yeah, more or less.
Makes sense.
She's a good-looking kid, especially being Ron. Look up a photo of Ron Howard, and then look up a photo of Bryce Dallas Howard, and you got to think, wow, Ron Howard has a good-looking wife. Yes. Definitely
his wife has to be the most
even if you want to
even
if you want to peel the onion back a little further, take a look at Clint Howard and think, oh my God, that's her uncle. He is not a good-looking man. Neither of them, but Ron Howard, fantastic director. Apollo 13 is one of my favorite movies, and he was on this show called Happy Days back in the day. But she's a good-looking kid, I think. Her character kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. She does get redeemed at the end, so it's okay. I love when he's like, we're going to be running around the park in those shoes, and she does that wardrobe adjustment, and he's like, what was that? She's like, what? I'm ready to go for an adventure. You know, she's kind of the career lady versus her doting mother, Judy Greer, who was very dramatic.
Not her mother, but her sister.
Her sister, but Judy Greer is the mother to these kids that are running around the park. She gets very dramatic in this movie. I was like, Judy Greer, wow, and very talented.
I enjoyed when she was like, "You're gonna track them down." He's like, "I was in the Navy, not the Navajo."
He's got great stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
he's got great stuff, and he's ruling these Raptors, and he's great, and he's one of the reasons this movie succeeds. I think if you put anybody else in that part, he's fixing a bike, and he's chugging a Coke with his his tight shirt. He looks great. Looks like $1 million bucks. And he's really cool in this. There's a really cool thing that happens. Let's talk about the dinosaurs now. Sure. I love that scene where people are like looking at the T-Rex and the kid gets a phone call and you don't see the T-Rex. And you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
So obviously later you're going to. The Indominus was cool. There was some stuff about the Indominus' abilities which were kind of odd to me. It has thermal imaging, and Chris Pratt douses himself in gasoline and hides under a car. I'm like, wouldn't it be able to see it under the car? But maybe, well, it tried to smell him, and it couldn't smell him because he covered himself in gas, which made sense. But I thought maybe be able to see it with thermal imaging or something. But I don't know. that was something that kind of drove me nuts. Off and on throughout the movie, like, doesn't it have thermal imaging? Like, can't it see whatever? Also, it digs out its tracker, and I'm like, they definitely should have put that tracker way further into its, into its skin, right? It was like basically just
so much of a difference.
It's like just like a tick underneath the surface. So they find a big chunk of its skin, which pays off later when the raptors smell it and go hunting.
Yeah.
So there's that. So the raptors. I actually thought because they don't say what's the evil scientist played by B.D. Wong, who was in the first movie. He was like, yes, we have all sorts of dinosaurs here on the island and blah blah blah. Now he's evil and he's got a turtleneck, which
the most evil of
the most evil of all outfits. Just ask Steve Jobs.
I want to point something out that related to the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and I want to relate it to a story I read this week. There's someone who's talking about disastrous 4th of July fireworks situations.
Oh no!
And it was they lit a Roman candle in the backyard, and their dog came by and stole it.
Oh no!
Like grabbed it in its mouth because he just thought it was fun. So he's running by and shooting people with this Roman candle. And so okay, we want to get the dog back here, and we want to get the candle back. What should we do? And someone was like, well, he was attracted to the Roman candle. Let's put another one on there and see if he'll come back for that one. Like, okay, perfect. So they put another one there, and they let it off, and of course the dog comes back. But they didn't plan how to get the dog, just so they knew how to draw him in. So he grabs it again, and they're in the exact same situation. Now, I thought about this with this movie, because there's a point at the end where they're going up, and if you listen to this point, the spoilers galore. So,
well, we said before, so whatever.
Yes, of course. The Indominus Rex is bearing down on them. A few raptors have been taken out, and they're just about out of raptors.
Well, also though, the Indominus had some raptors on his side, and so then you got these Navy SEALs with their night vision GoPros being attacked, which made for a pretty cool sequence.
So there's this idea that they will that Bryce Dallas Howard's character Claire will just go get the T-Rex.
Yeah,
and
Paddock,
T-Rex
was it Paddock 9? They go to Paddock 9. I was like, oh, it's gonna be awesome.
But the biggest problem is that even if that works, you have a T-Rex out. You still
you have a T-Rex.
Yeah, you're still not benefiting from it. Now the movie gets away with it because they're just like, the T-Rex. He's kind of just cool with it. He just kind of goes his own way. He's gonna go rule the island himself, I guess.
Sorry to interrupt. Her own way, but keep going.
Is T-Rex in that movie? Oh, right.
Yeah, they're all ladies,
yeah,
and I think it is the T-Rex from the first movie too. At least I'd like to think.
Suggested. Yeah, that's what I've read. It has the same. It apparently has the same wounds as the one from the first movie.
Good. Yes.
Yeah,
I loved that. It's like she was my favorite character. It's like she's back. It was better than seeing Arnold in Terminator Genisys. It was great to see her. It's like, oh, she's back, and oh man, she was awesome. So the Indominus. I got to mention the Indominus is made out of dinosaurs. They don't know what it's made of, and it's part raptor. So the raptors, which were formerly on the human side, turn heel, right?
Yes.
And they attack all the Navy SEAls. Then they turn back face again. It was a swerve, brother, because they unleash. They go to Paddock 9. Jake Johnson lets it out, and Bryce Dallas has it with the flare. And man, I'd go see the movie again just for this reveal of when it walks out. Because it is so cool. And it walks out, and it and the Indominus fight all over Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. And the raptor runs in slow motion, and you have this incredible dinosaur fight. And it's all CG, but it's awesome. It's wicked. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, our buddy that we saw earlier, the Mosasaurus, which we find out
yes.
hunts.
I pumped my fist, just not even intentionally.
I punched both. I pumped both. Like, I was seeing this movie by myself, and I pumped both fists. Just
this is
out of
If
instinct.
Alex was here, he would call us the biggest nerds. Just so we're.
But that's
just
okay.
to give Alex his due. I love that part of the movie.
This is why movies are made. To be clear, this is why movies are made, for the involuntary reaction. And I had that when the Mosasaurus, which earlier we find out hunts near the surface of the water. It's this giant. It's basically a giant crocodile. Lake Placid's got nothing on this guy, and he just reaches up and grabs it. Now, I think though, perhaps because we didn't see the Indominus.
Oh, are you really doing that?
I am. I mean, I'm not writing. Listen, I'm not writing the next one. They haven't hired me. I haven't written Dracula 3 yet, or Dracula 4. Once I have that kind of pedigree, I can write Jurassic World 2. Now, do you think they'll have a sequel? said the most obvious question ever.
Oh my gosh, there should just be a machine in the movie studio that's the once it makes $1 billion, it's automatic sequel.
Ding, yeah, automatic sequel. And like the end of the movie, the T-Rex, she walks up on top of the helipad and just roars over her kingdom because she's the she's the ruler. I was like, oh, the queen conquers. I thought that was so cool.
So, Will, if you were gonna issue missives from your kingdom, where would we find that?
My kingdom is available on the Twitter sphere. I'm at William C. Vaughan. If you take umbrage, is that the word?
Umbrage, yes. Dolores.
Dolores. She's got kitties on her plates. If you take umbrage with anything I said about Jurassic World or Terminator Genisys, if you like Genisys, let me know.
If you think 3-year-olds should watch movie theater.
Yeah, absolutely don't bring your 3-year-old to the movie. So, yes, Twitter, at William C. Vaughan. Matthew?
At MP Vaughan on Twitter. And if for some reason you're curious about the absent member of the Triple Threat podcast, Alex Vaughan,
I forgot all about him. I forgot he existed for an hour. I forgot he was alive.
He was truly dead to us.
Well, no, that's not it. It was more like he never existed, right? It's like his photo. He was fading away in a photograph. And I think next week we should talk about Back to the Future.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Or the song Photograph by Nickelback.
Yeah.
Look at that photograph.
I think we just discussed it. Real quick.
Yeah, I am disgusted by that song.
Real quick, Matt, Phil Kessel's on the Penguins now, which is your kind of team. What do you think?
I'm excited about it. I never believe anything good will happen for the Penguins just because I think that's a sports thing. You're like, nothing good will happen because you want to get your hopes up. And it's amazing that he's there and he's going to score 1 billion goals and we're going to win 8 Stanley Cups. It's going to be great.
There you go. Okay, could be a good thing for this poor chubby guy who just wants to play hockey.
He just wants to play hockey and eat hot dogs.
Play hockey and eat hot dogs. Thanks for joining us, folks. Next week we may have 3 of us. I don't know, but this is the Double Threat podcast for July 6th. Have a safe and happy week.
Eat a donut. Or a hot dog for us.
Yeah, or put the hot dog inside the hole of the donut and just wrap a bunch of donuts around it and eat that. That'd be pretty good. I might eat that right now.
Folks, that one is that's for our restaurant, our 1,500-seat restaurant.
Yes, yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, we're gonna write Jurassic World 2 and open a restaurant based on the
cannelloni and a donut, a double donut dog.
Yeah, so far it's our 2 items. We're no Cheesecake Factory, but we're getting there.
Oh yeah.
All right, peace out, people.
Bye.